All right, everyone, ready for another deep dive? Buckle up, because today we're talking about the white bellbird, and wow, this one is a real head turner.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible.
I mean, I had no idea there were birds out there that could be this loud.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I should probably mention we've got some excerpts from scientific journals and some field recordings all about the white bellbird.
Good stuff. Should give us a pretty good picture of what makes them tick, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about rattling off facts. We really want to get under the feathers of this bird, figure out what makes them so unique, so important, and what we can learn from them.
Sounds good.
All right, so first impressions. These guys are pretty easy on the eyes, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, the males especially. There's something else, that bright white plumage.
Yeah, that's what really caught my eye, too. I mean, pure white, like almost glowing in the rainforest, right? And then you've got those piercing black eyes and that yellow beak. It's like nature's tuxedo, right?
That's a good way to put it, yeah. And it's not just for show, that white really stands out in the dim light of the forest.
Right, so it's got to be for attracting a mate, right?
Exactly. It's all about making yourself seen. And, over time, the males with the brightest feathers, they were the ones who got the girl, basically.
Ah, so the classic story of natural selection, huh? The flashier, the better.
Yep, pretty much. But now the females are a completely different story.
Yeah, they're a lot more understated, right? More camouflaged.
Oh, absolutely. Mostly green, which makes perfect sense when you think about it. They're the ones nesting, protecting the eggs, so blending in is kind of essential.
Makes sense, yeah. They're all about staying hidden from predators. Can't be too flashy when you're trying to stay off the menu, right?
Right. They've got different priorities.
Totally. But one thing I found really interesting in the research was the males have this thing called a wattle.
Oh, yeah, the wattle.
It's like this fleshy bit that hangs down from their beak. What's the deal with that? It almost seems a little, I don't know, awkward.
Well, awkward maybe, but definitely eye-catching. And, it actually moves and vibrates when they call. So, imagine you're a female white bellbird, you see this bright white bird, and then this wattle starts, like, bobbing around.
I mean, it's got to be a sight, right? Like a whole performance.
It's a real showstopper.
Speaking of the call, we got to talk about that. This is where things get really wild. I mean, we're talking the loudest bird on record here.
Yeah, no kidding. It's something else.
125 decibels. I looked it up. That's like standing next to a chainsaw.
Or a rock concert right in front of the speakers.
Yeah, that's nuts. But, okay, here's what I don't get. The research also said that their calls can actually be so loud that it scares the females away.
Yeah, that seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of attracting a mate if you're going to blast them away with your love song, right?
Well, I guess it's kind of like, sometimes you just got to shout to be heard. Especially in a dense rainforest where the sound doesn't travel too far.
So they're turning it up to 11 just to make sure the message gets through.
Yeah, and it's not like they're just shouting randomly either. They actually turn their heads, like aiming the sound.
Oh, so it's a targeted blast of sound, like a sonic laser beam or something.
Exactly. They're focusing all that power right at the female they're trying to woo.
Man, that's wild. I mean, I'd love to see that in action, but maybe from a safe distance,
Yeah, maybe bring some earplugs.
So, where did these guys hang out? Isn't it like high up in the mountains of South America?
Yeah, specifically in montane forests, they're called. They're these forests found at higher elevations, like between 1,200 and 2,000 meters.
Okay, so not your typical Amazon rainforest then.
No, these are cooler, wetter, with a whole different set of plants and animals.
Interesting. So what are they eating up there? The research mentioned something about them being frugivores, right?
Yep, that's basically a fancy way of saying they're fruit eaters. They go crazy for fruit, especially from certain trees that are crucial for the whole forest ecosystem.
So they're like little seed dispensers then, right? Spreading the forest love all over the place.
Exactly. And it's not just any seeds. They're often spreading the seeds of trees that are like keystone species, the kind that provide food and shelter for tons of other plants and animals.
Wow, so they're like the gardeners of the forest, keeping everything in balance.
Yep. They're a vital part of the whole web of life up there.
That's pretty amazing. But it also makes you think, with all the deforestation going on, what happens if their habitat starts to disappear?
Well, it's a domino effect, Less habitat means less food, fewer places to nest. And as the white bellbird population drops, the plants that rely on them to spread their seeds, they suffer too.
It's like pulling a thread from a sweater. The whole thing can start to unravel.
Yeah, and that's why, protecting these ecosystems is so important. it's not just about saving one species, it's about saving the whole interconnected community.
So let's do a little recap here. The white bellbird, visually stunning, right? The males are pure white, the females are camouflaged green, and then there's that incredible call, the loudest of any bird, capable of both attracting and scaring off a mate.
Quite the paradox, right?
Totally. But, beyond the spectacle, they play a crucial role in their ecosystem, spreading seeds and helping to maintain the balance of the whole forest.
And that's why we need to, understand these connections and advocate for the protection of their habitat.
Absolutely. It's like, imagine you're walking through the rainforest, right? Sun dappling through the leaves, you hear the insect buzzing all around you,
Yeah, I can picture it.
and then suddenly, bam, that deafening call of the white bellbird just explodes through the trees. It's got to be an experience you'd never forget.
Oh, for sure.
And hopefully, it would be a reminder to all of us that we need to protect these incredible creatures and the amazing ecosystems they call home.
Couldn't have said it better myself.